First tonight, hundreds of Tasmanians to undergo a repeat colonoscopy following a Hobart hospital blunder. Tasmanian women to soon have access to surgical terminations without needing to fly interstate. GILLON McLaughlin hands down his final decision on the future of the state's football. Australia demands action over a basketball brawl where our players were attacked. The miracle survival of 12 boys and their soccer coach trapped in a cave for 10 days. And the desperate plea for us to donate blood with O-negative supplies critically low.
Live from our Tasmanian headquarters, this is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. There are major concerns tonight for hundreds of Tasmanians who've undergone colonoscopies, with fears their procedures may have missed a crucial step. The patients of the Lenah Valley Calvary Hospital are being advised to undergo a repeat procedure. Our reporter Louise HEDGER is at the Calvary. Louise, what has caused this?
Well, Joe, it's no doubt come as a shock to many tonight, with 390 patients who had a colonoscopy here at Calvary in Lenah Valley between November last year and May this year, now being urged to have those procedures done again. But it is taking all precautions it can to ensure that it covers all bases. Now, Joe, for those patients who are concerned, there is a dedicated website online with more information and a dedicated phone number that they can also call.
Louise, thank you very much for that report. Louise HEDGER joining us there. The Health Department is close to securing an agreement with a new provider for affordable surgical abortions in Hobart after the withdrawal of the only low-cost provider last year. But the state opposition says the procedure should be more widely available in our public hospitals across the state, as the new plan will disadvantage women in regional areas.
The issue of access to abortions has spurred protests and political debate, triggered by the closure of Tasmania's last low-cost provider of surgical terminations in December. Health Minister Michael Ferguson wasn't available for interview. Michael BREEN, Southern Cross News.
There's been a climactic conclusion to the saga which has consumed Tasmanian football over the past 6 months, with AFL CEO GILLON McLaughlin making his highly anticipated return to the state today to deliver his steering committee's final decision. Our sports reporter Tom Cooper has been following the story from the beginning and joins us now. Good evening, Tom. What does the end product look like?
Good evening, Joe. Well, there will be some who think the AFL has been generous and, of course, some who believe that we've copped a raw deal, but ultimately the final package presented today is designed to create a united model for football that the state can be proud of, from junior talent pathways through to the TSL level and eventually having our own side back in the VFL competition. Let's take a look at some of the finer details of the AFL's grand plan. Staying true to his word, the AFL CEO delivered his steering committee's findings in person.
Over the next 3 years, our vision is to rebuild and to unify Tasmanian football.
Tom Cooper, Southern Cross News.
Outspoken Independent Senator David Leyonhjelm is refusing to apologise for controversial comments he made to fellow Senator Sarah Hanson-Young. And now he's launched a blistering broadside at the Prime Minister.
On her 10th anniversary as a senator,
I'm over it. I'm absolutely over it.
Sarah Hanson-Young says she's fighting back.
A sickening brawl at the Basketball World Cup in the Philippines is being called one of the most terrifying moments in Australian sporting history. Punches were thrown and chairs sent flying, with the sport's bosses now in damage control.
With Australia well ahead, the Philippines coach was revving up his players. Then there's a shove to Chris Goulding. Teammate Daniel Kickett comes in with an elbow and the violence explodes.
Stay with us. Still to come in our broadcast tonight. A new victim and new sex assault charges laid against disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. A New Zealand kayaker's record-breaking triumph across the ditch. And a Tasmanian brewery shines on the national stage. Welcome back. More Tasmanian restaurants than ever before have been named among the best, with 5 establishments from the Apple Isle making the country's top 100. Hobart's Franklin took out top spot for the state, coming in at number 14. New Norfolk's Agrarian Kitchen Eatery, listed as 32, also received a special mention as Australia's best newcomer. A Tasmanian brewery has produced a true golden ale, taking out top prize at a national beer competition. Van Diemen Brewery hopes its winning ale will help raise the profile of the fledgling product.
Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder. And the judges at Sydney's prestigious Independent Beer Awards liked what they saw when this Tasmanian brewery raised its glass. Well over 100 breweries from around the country entered the awards. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's Education Union is ramping up its calls for increased pay and better conditions for its members. The organisation today submitting 2 log of claims to challenge the government's stance on public sector pay rises and to call for a new teachers' agreement.
Tasmanian teachers are the lowest paid teachers in Australia, and a 2% wage increase, which is the government's wages policy, is going to keep them lowest paid, and that's just unacceptable.
New South Wales top police officer is vowing he won't give up on solving the murder of Cecilia Haddad, even if Brazilian authorities never hand over the prime suspect. While the search for Mario Santoro is headline news here, there are real fears that the manhunt is gaining little traction in Brazil.
It's party time in Brazil. Gripped by World Cup fever and a win.
Tom Cooper will join us again shortly with a look at more of the day's sport news, as Roger Federer's Wimbledon title defence gets off to the perfect start at the All England club. The Aussie cricket side too good for Pakistan in the Tri-Series, ending their horror losing streak. And a star cat set to make his long-awaited return from injury just in time for Thursday night's blockbuster against the Swans. Those stories for you shortly, but first after the break, a recap of the day's headlines. And then dozens of women involved in a trial of the drug VIAGRA to see if it improves outcomes during childbirth. And Tasmania's NBN rollout continues. Welcome back, everyone. These are some of the stories making headlines tonight. Hundreds of Tasmanians to undergo a repeat colonoscopy procedure following a Hobart hospital blunder. Tasmanian women to soon have access to surgical terminations without needing to fly interstate. GILLON McLaughlin hands down his final decision on the future of the state's football. And the desperate plea for locals to donate blood with O-negative supplies critically low. Tasmania is set to soon be the most connected state in the country, with the NBN rollout almost complete. Businesses say they're reaping the rewards, with fresh connectivity making work on an international scale a whole lot easier.
It hasn't been an easy road for the NBN or its customers, but it's becoming smoother.
Now a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to TasPlan, your local super fund. Australian shares have finished stronger on the back of gains in financial, energy and healthcare stocks, which outweighed losses in the mining sector. The ASX 200 index has risen by 32.4 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 73.69 US cents and 63.25 euro cents. Tom Cooper joins us again now with more of the day's sports news. Hello again, Tom. 3 of our best Wimbledon hopes in action tonight.
Good to see you again, Joe. Yeah, Kyrgios, Tomic and Barty will headline day 2. I'll have more on that coming up. Also, after the break, Julian Wilson surfs his way through to round 3 at J-Bay. And English soccer fans set for a frenzy as their side prepares for its knockout World Cup clash with Colombia. Welcome back. St Kilda's Paddy McCartan has revealed he feared his career was over after suffering a 6th concussion at the end of 2017. The Saints' #1 draft pick says a heart-to-heart conversation with coach Alan Richardson was a driving factor in his return to footy.
12 months ago, Paddy McCartan was in the wars. Today, the key forward turned doctor for one Saints youngster.
And as we heard earlier in the bulletin, AFL CEO GILLON McLachlan returned to Hobart today to deliver his steering committee's final model for the future of football in the state, with the AFL set to deliver an additional $1.4 million in funding per year from 2019. 3 new football administration hubs will be set up in the south, north and northwest, along with regional advisory committees in the hopes of boosting participation numbers and strengthening talent pathways. Surfing legend Kelly Slater has confirmed he won't pursue a historic Olympic gold and plans to call time on his career in 2019. The 11-time world champion made the announcement after his opening heat at South Africa's Jeffreys Bay. And finally in sport, Tasmanian Wayne Stubbs has received 8 Ball's highest honour for the 2nd year running. The Qist has been named in the 6-man world team, which is made up of the best players from the world titles held in Blackpool, England. Stubbs had the best winning percentage for Australia in the Masters division at the titles. The Devonport Locals' next big tournament is in the Nationals, being held in Albury in October. Gotta love a sport that lets you train at the pub. That's it for sport, Joe.
Of course. Thank you very much for that, Tom. Pete Murphy's up right after the break.
Good evening. Bushy Park, Campania and Hobart all on our warmest today of 16 degrees. Launceston 13, Burnie and Devonport 14. Fingal with the overnight low, -2, and even though the wind started to freshen, temperatures were on or above average today. Ouse 15 degrees, Lyawini and the Hearts Mountain 7. All other reporting centres maxed out on 13. A combination of low and middle level cloud over the state today, mainly over the north and west, produced a shower or 2 over western areas. Mount Reid 7 millimetres and Strawn 5. Thick cloud with a cold front and tropical moisture streamed across Western Australia, the Bight and also our region. A cold air mass is visible behind that system. Onshore winds brought cloud to the east coast of the country. And tomorrow the cold front nears our west coast with a trough extending through to WA, as well as another front. A high over the Tasman extends a ridge back over eastern states. North to northwesterlies at 20 to 30 knots, increasing to 30 to 40 knots over the west and south, where a 4-metre swell will roll in. A gale warning from southeast Cape to Stanley. A strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters. A small craft wind alert for the lakes. As the winds pick up, a shower or 2 will blow in over Hobart, a top of 15 degrees, 15 also for Geeveston, a shower or 2 as well for Bothwell, 14 the maximum. Launceston, showers on the way, a windy day and 15 for Devonport, same forecast for Cressy as well, but 13 the high. For Burnie, showers developing, a windy day and 15, 14 the top for Strawn, and also showers for King Island, 15 degrees. For St Helens tomorrow, a shower or 2 developing later, 16 also for Swansea and 15 the top for Orford. On Thursday, showers increasing to rain over the north and west. A fine start elsewhere before those showers catch up with everyone. Rain statewide on Friday, easing to showers by the afternoon, and more showers on Saturday with snow to 700 metres. The strong winds will shift west-southwesterly during the day. A morning storm likely in Perth tomorrow morning. Winds easing from Adelaide, partly cloudy in Melbourne. A sunny day in Sydney, a top of 20, and the chance of a shower in Brisbane. And the cloud cover keeping the temperatures warm for this time of night. 14 in Hobart, 12 in Launceston, 12 right now in Devonport, Joe.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for that, Murph. That's all from the team for now. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Good night.